It's been a while since the last time we recorded a YouTube video. We picked up a new car. I'm not sure if at the time of recording I'm gonna spoil what the car is in the title of the video, but in case I have, rear-wheel drive manual 2J Drift R35 Gtr. This S13 hatch is the car that I've learned to drift on. Honestly, I am still not out of the skill level of this car. I have plenty of learning to do. But this GTR is the next step up. And even though we're gonna be doing the build on this channel, that car is for our other brand, Ruiner. Well, Out of Love was my first jump into running a business and doing a brand, and it's very unapologetically me. A year or two ago when I started getting into drifting, I knew I really wanted to do something that was solely focused with driving. And this was the first step of that. So this is a strobe kit that we developed because I wanted to have strobes on the S13, and they weren't available, at least that you could like change the colors and control everything from a really nice hardware controller. So we built one. Yeah, I mean, this brand isn't too terribly big yet, but we probably produced, I think, 200 of these kits and controllers, and so far they've been pretty highly reviewed. I don't think it's going to show up super well, but it is a 5-channel controller, so it's meant to be a front left, front right, rear left, rear right, and then like a center or back center or whatever you want, like auxiliary strobe. But yeah, the whole point of today's video is we picked up a new car for the Ruiner brand. It's a shell right now, but we're going to go to our buddy's shop. We're gonna go take a look at it, take you guys there with us, bring a whole bunch of parts. Hopefully we're gonna get the JZ set in today. We'll see, who knows. All these parts are gonna come with us today when we go to check out the car. We're gonna try to get as much of it on as possible today. Of course, this is gonna be a multi-part series, but yeah, I'm gonna go get the truck packed up and we're gonna get ready to go. We're based in northern Washington and currently it is pretty snowy outside. It snowed the last few days. It's not snowing anymore, so I think it's all right to go out. It looks pure white on the camera. Tetris Chaser is buried in snow. It's actually not too bad now, but before it was completely covered. Nice, man. Look at the size of that thing. The buddy shop that we're going to, his name is Jeff. He's built a lot of incredible cars in the past. I'll try to put like a cut in right here for him. But yeah, he's built quite a few JZ cars. Super crazy drift S15. Yeah, the game plan is to get the car at least in a movable state at Jeff's shop. Jeff's gonna be handling all the complex fabrication. There's a lot of custom stuff that has to happen naturally since we're putting an engine, transmission, drive shaft, full rear end, intercooler setup, all piping setup that doesn't belong in the car that it's supposed to be in. So a lot of fabrication that needs to be done for this car. Jeff's gonna be handling all the fab work. Me and Terry, who is not quite here yet, but he'll show up at some point. We'll be handling install of less complex stuff. So for context on how this GTR came to be, it was originally Jeff's shell. So he bought this GTR as a shell. It used to be like a TX2K, like 2,000 horsepower car. He bought the shell with the plan to put a 2J in it. He did the fab work, had the 2J set in, so it's got the engine mounts ready to go. Hammered out the transmission tunnel, but ended up bailing on the project to focus on the Lexus. And it kind of sat for a while. It wasn't a car I was particularly interested in, but he posted it up for sale one day. It never came to fruition, but I had an S15 sitting in Japan that we were gonna build with you guys. I have a 2J sitting at his shop. The plan was to put the 2J in the S15 and build that up as the step up from this car. Jeff ended up putting up that shell for sale, and it's a more involved project, but 2J S15's been done a million times. There are a couple 2J and a couple Drift R35s, but not that many. And I thought, man, it would be way cooler to build a Drift R35 over an S15. So we picked up the shell from him, and the project proceeds. Ounce blended Snickers mocha. All right, we just made it. I parked next to Jeff's truck. This is a Tundra, by the way, a new Tundra. Look how tiny it looks compared to his fucking GMC. I don't know. Yeah, you're like 6 foot tall. It's like a 6 foot tall front end. That's insane. It makes this truck look like a mini truck, dude. Jeff's doing some sort of welding project right now. But here is the car in all of its glory. It's super, super dirty. That's it. So yeah, subframe's already been notched to fit the oil pan. Parts are all situated. This is the JZ that's going in the GTR. Right now, obviously, it's not dressed at all. But it is a 2JZ GTE VVTi. It'll definitely be enough to make mid 400s without any issue reliably. It's like an album cover. Terry's working on clearancing part of the dash's frame for a clutch line. Now I'm taking a look at this cluster and figuring out how we're going to mount this up. This is the link dash, and it looks pretty sick. I was thinking we would just do some small brackets on these standoffs and then here run it directly like this on the front, but I'm not sure how much clearance we have with that steering column. So I'm going to pull off the cluster and see what this looks like behind that. And I got it on. We just cut up a couple pieces of scrap. Sorry about that. We just cut up a couple pieces of scrap. Made some little L, or I guess like Z bend brackets using the screw holes that are originally there for these metal brackets on the side. And then the standoffs, and it's pretty solid. But that looks good.
Doesn't feel as good as these.
It'll look better with a different wheel that has the short hub and pushes it out a little bit farther.
So we got the reservoir mounted and got the line for the reservoir routed through the firewall, which is way, can barely see it, but it's right up behind there. And now we need to run the clutch line from that through the firewall, which is a grommet we're going to run through. We're going to get this put in and then run it to a dry brake before it goes to the trans.
Our friends rented out one of those like warehouse studios with like the full white backdrop and stuff like that. So we'll be able to get some really cool photos and content of this car that we've never been able to do before. Car's cold right now, so hopefully we can get it started. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get some coffee and then take you guys on the journey with me. Let's go. Same, man. Uh-oh. Nice. Oh, I spoke too soon. Nice. Gonna switch over to voiceover for this clip because it was super windy and the audio wasn't usable. Sorry about that. But we made it to the film studio with a ton of scraping of the exhaust on the way in. You can see how low that the exhaust sits. We recently lowered the car quite a bit lower than it was before, and I was not prepared for the amount of scraping that happened on some of these roads on the way up to the film studio. Quite a few friends showed up. This is our buddy Josh, our friend Marcus, and Sonny were also there. I think it was just us four shooting that day. That's Marcus's car and Marcus right there. And yeah, this is the studio, Fist Bump Filmworks. It is a really cool space. They have like a loft up top, and yeah, the vibe in there is just incredible. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna show you guys some nice B-roll from that event. Stinks nice and good. Good smell. Ready again? I don't know how well the audio is going to come through, but not really how I expected to end the day. To give you guys a rundown on what's happened with the 240. So right now it's idling, which is great. That's a blessing because I'm able to run the strobes. At least, obviously it doesn't have any hazards or anything, but this works really good to at least, you know, make sure we don't get hit. The throttle body that's on this car, what happened is the rod that goes through the butterfly part broke. So there's no throttle response at all whatsoever. It's completely undrivable. Stuck on the side of the road. Thankfully, Terry and Darren are coming with a trailer. I'm hanging out here probably for like an hour, maybe a little bit more while I'm waiting for them. I'm in Canada right now, as we said earlier in the video, so they have to cross an international border and find where I'm at, so it'll be fun, but I've been chilling in the car for probably about an hour now. Luckily, Terry and Darren are almost here. This is what I've been dealing with, so it's pretty cold outside. Not the worst, it's probably like 45, but rainy, so it definitely feels cold, so I'm trying to stay in the car. And it's a little bit warmer here, but the oil pressure gauge just keeps beeping at me. We deal with it. Shout out to the friends for coming to pick me up. They'll be here pretty soon. All right, GPS says that they're gonna be here any second now. Hopefully, one of these cars coming up. What? Why did the car just shut off? Okay, I gotta kill that real quick. Crazy timing. Holy. Woo! I'm not even joking. I was like, I'm just gonna record real quick just to see them pulling up. And right as you guys started pulling up, the car turned itself off after idling for an hour.
It goes really far away. It works really well.
Yeah, right? Very good attention grab. I'm actually helping get this thing loaded up, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off now. Yeah, shout out Darren and shout out Terry for coming to save the day.